Craig Johnson, Craig Blue Horseshoe. Craig, you've come all the way from Australia to London. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Ben.
Are you enjoying London?
I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Now, look, Craig, you are such a fabulous person in so many ways. You're a great friend. You're a great counsel. You have wonderful experience. You're happy to share it with others. You have a positive energy. You like to see people do well, and you always have a go at things.
Yeah.
Now, those are things that you could end a top 10 there and say to people, have a think about them in your life. But we'd like to get to know you a bit better, and possibly if you can share some of your journey with us and what you've learned. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay. First question: do you believe that people are born as entrepreneurs, or can they become them?
I think that they are born as entrepreneurs. It doesn't mean that you can't, pull yourself towards that. But I think that people are born with a natural inclination to be an entrepreneur.
Okay. When did you first feel a hunger to do business?
When I started out working when I was 17. I graduated high school and I didn't really want to go into university because I was tired of being told things and taught things. I wanted to go out into the world and try myself, and I like the idea of making my own money and having my own time to do that. So I started out just in a simple job, but the first time that I actually started out in a ball bearings factory as a sales cadet in a ball bearings warehouse. But after a year or two of that, I got an offer to do a job selling advertising for a farming magazine in New Zealand. And it was quite a commission-based job. And that's where I got the first sort of hunger, because I did a national deal with Telecom, the national phone company of New Zealand.
How old were you then?
I was 19 or 20 years old.
Oh, fantastic. Right.
And I thought to myself, surely Telecom would want to advertise to all the farmers in New Zealand, and they were having a bit of a problem at that time because there was problems with their service and what have you, and farmers weren't particularly happy with them. So I went to Telecom and said, this is the Federated Farmers Magazine of New Zealand. I think it would be good if you were on it, because it would be good for you and maybe your relations with farmers to show them that you're supporting them and so on and so forth. I went down to head office in Wellington on a whim, on a thought of that. And the guy looked at me and said, yeah, we'll take the back cover nationally. And I got a commission deal on that was, at the time, I think it was about 5,000 New Zealand dollars. And for me at that time, that was in the early 90s, that was a fortune. And that was the time I thought, wow, if you use your melon, you can really make money in the world. And that gave me the hunger. When I got that check, and then I went out and got another deal, and I made lots of commission on that.
It was feelings rather than a process.
Yes, it was a feeling. It was a feeling of, I put that together, I thought about that, he agreed with me, and I got the check. That, as it got closer and closer, it was the feeling of the chase.
Yes.
That's what thrilled me.
Yes.
Because in that day and in that meeting, I made more money on that one meeting than I had, that most people in my age in that time would make in a month. So I was thrilled.
Nothing is as addictive as success and momentum. Once you feel it for the first time, it's an incredible rush. You then get used to it, but by God, you know when you've lost it.
Yes. So but the first time you get it, it's incredible.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yes,
incredible.
Yeah. And there's no way back.
No.
Okay. What do you do to calm your mind during stressful, pressured, drifting times, which do come in business? Of course.
All the time. What I like to do, and it's cliche, but it's true, I like to walk and I like to talk to myself. Like a lot of, I guess you would say, sort of sales-driven people, you have quite an active inner monologue. I find that walking, and there's two sort of spaces I like to walk in especially. I like to walk in forests and I like to walk beside beaches. And the reason for that is they are full of what they call negative ions. Negative ions are basically make you feel. You'll know if you walk through a forest, a large forest, away from everything, just through a massive stand of trees, or next to an ocean. You always feel better from doing that. And I can't explain to you what negative ions are, but they are an energy that make you feel, I guess, it benefits you from walking next to those or in those spaces.
What's negative about walking through on a beach? It's a wonderful feeling.
No, negative ions. There's positive ions and negative ions.
Yeah. And a negative ion's a good one.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
But there's a balance for both. But sometimes it's good to walk in those what you would call in those vast natural spaces.
I completely agree with you.
So
I think that we're millions of years old, and walking through a forest, there's something so peaceful about it. And
primal.
I think that walking on the beach barefoot, you're just at one with yourself and nature.
Yes.
I agree with you. And I think if that doesn't chill you, nothing does.
And you hear the waves crashing, and what walking next to a beach reminds me of is that we are just a speck in the universe. We'll be gone tomorrow in the scheme of things, and our problems don't really mount to a hill of beans. The world will go on without us. We're not that important. It still doesn't mean that your problems aren't important, but it gives you perspective and it makes you realise it's okay. There's something. There's a way through it. And by the time I finish the walk, I always feel better.
Yeah, I think that's one theme that you have with entrepreneurs. I think that we believe that we will always be able to adapt.
Yes.
Okay. What would be now? Look, obviously, this is a quick interview, so these are it. But what would your top 3 business do's be?
My top 3 business do's are: number 1, stand by your word. Your word is everything, and your reputation is built on your word.
I couldn't agree more. Integrity is. I think that it has a value that does come back to you, definitely.
Yep. It does, and I think way too many people in these fast times forget that. Number 2, look for the angle or the solution, especially if you're selling to somebody, because that's where your value is. You're trying to find that solution for somebody to make their life ultimately easier. So I always find that looking for the angle, looking for the solution is always something I would do.
Sorry, do you mean the solution for the person you're dealing with?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
You must give them what they want.
You've got to find them a solution. Otherwise, what are they with you for? If you're not providing them with a solution, what's the point of them spending their time with you? And number 3, listen. I often will listen to somebody and take that away in the evening and consider it and roll it around in my mind and think about it. And it's later in the evening, once I've processed it and listened, that I come up with an answer, or I come up with that's a good idea, or something like that. So always listen.
Do you know something? I couldn't agree with you more. I think that people so often say to entrepreneurs, you're able to talk to everybody. No, you're able to listen to everybody. You must stand in their shoes. And back to number 2, solutions. It's when you do that you realise what they want.
Correct.
And if you can give that to them, then there's some business to be done.
Correct.
Yeah. What you want and what you've got to say, forget about that.
That doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
No. Because what you're trying to provide something for them.
Yes.
So I like to listen. I like to think. I'm not that sharp that I can give you the answer to your solution straight away. It takes me a while, but that's okay. Time is okay, and so I like to listen and think. So those are my 3 business do's.
Okie dokie. And then you learnt these the hard way. What are your 3 business don'ts?
Number 1, don't be late. I can't stand lateness. I think it's a really disrespect to people's time. So number 1, don't be late. Respect people's time. Number 2, don't be too inflexible. I've often dealt in business, very high value business deals with big corporations. I've been at the head of massive groups and corporations where the person that I'm working with or working for often is supposed to be a very smart man or woman or what have you, but they're not being terribly flexible at times. I think inflexibility is a killer. I think always have a bit of flexibility about any negotiation you do, because there's always an opportunity to skin the cat another way. But if you are too inflexible, you shut that door. I've seen so many deals fall over because the person said, no, not doing that way. And
that's not how we do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the deal's shut and the door's shut. And I think, that's a shame. There's business there to be done.
I would say that's a shame, but also I think that they're not respecting the market, because situations and markets move, and you have to respect that. If you don't, the market will take care of you and eat you up.
Yeah.
So I think that's their problem, not yours.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I've seen that. That's a business don't where I thought, even coming up and as a younger man, I thought, I won't be like that. I won't be inflexible. I'll always have a flexibility to. Because I've seen so many deals get killed stone dead because the person said, nope, that's not the way we're doing it. Okay. And I think that's a shame.
What else?
And number 3, don't be a dickhead. I find arrogance to be really, really ugly as a trait. And I think a lot of people who climb those corporate ladders and to get, whether it's entrepreneurism or whether it's whether the CEO of a company or what have you, I think a lot of them forget where they came from, and I think there's an arrogance to some people in the way that they treat not only perhaps who they're dealing with, but even in people in their own company. I just think being arrogant and being like in New Zealand, being a dickhead is don't do that. People don't forget, and it's nice to be nice. It's easy to be nice.
I completely agree with you. I think it's hugely underrated. I think that people have this vision of business people being thuggish and aggressive the whole time. I think that that's in newspapers and films and books. I think that the best business people are actually quite tender.
They've always been the best business people I've ever worked with. Are those sort of people. I find arrogant people, they burn bridges, and I think to myself, I personally make a note and think, well, I'm not going to do business with them again.
I agree. What's your favourite song, and what meaning does it come with, Craig?
I love music, Ben. I really love music, film and music, as you know. I love music and film. But if you put me up against a wall and say your favourite song, it would be a song called K-San by an Australian band called Cold Chisel. And it's the story of a man adrift in Australia. He comes back from the Vietnam War and he comes back to Australia and is adrift. He's a bit listless. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. And the war's forgotten and moved on, and no one really cares anyway. And he tries to make his way in the world. It struggles and fails, and ultimately goes back to Asia because that's where he says it's really got me worried. I'm going nowhere and I'm in a hurry, and it's a wonderful line. And you just feel this man's he's lost and he doesn't know where to go and what to go. And the last line of the song is the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone, and he's heading back to Asia because he feels more at home there. It's a wonderful song, K-San by Cold Chisel. Wonderful story. I love stories and songs, and that's a great story.
You get people, so that doesn't surprise me. Now, Craig, what has kept you going when you've fallen?
remembering my father, as I've said to you, Ben, my father is the hero of my life. He was, I was adopted with my sister. My mother and my adopted mother and father raised me. My adopted mother unfortunately died when I was 7, and my sister was 4, and my dad had to raise us on a widower's benefit by himself. And what's kept me going when I've had some great highs and I've had some crushing lows. What's kept me going in my lowest times is the memory of my father, and the class and the dignity that he raised us with such kindness, and I think to myself, my problems next to my father's are nothing. He was going through an enormous troubles, and had to go onto a widower's benefit to raise us, because we were both children, and there was no one to do it. And so he was so wonderful, so loving. And when I'm at my lowest of lows, when I was at my lowest lows, I would think, that's nothing compared to what Dad was. And so I just, that always picks me up, and I think, okay, get on with it.
What's your favourite film, and what did you take from it?
Yeah, this is another really hard question. There's so many films I love, but if I was, once again, I'm going to say The Truman Show. I love The Truman Show. Great choice. I love The Truman Show very, very much. And it's because, what did I take away from it? I think there's that line, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. I think The Truman Show encapsulates that. And when he's sailing across the ocean to try and escape where he was, and the world and the powers that be try and stop him from doing that, and he fights through and gets to the end of his world, and steps out the door. It never fails to make me cry, because I think that film is a metaphor for a lot of men's and women's lives. I think we all put a good front, we put a good face out and say it's great and everything's good. And I think a lot of people lead lives of quiet desperation, and I think The Truman Show speaks to that.
I agree with you. When have you felt most disappointed, Craig?
So I came from very, very sort of little, and I worked my way up, and I in New Zealand for a number of years, and then I got an opportunity to go to Dubai, and I worked my way up in Dubai, and I became the GM of a big company there called Landmark Properties. It was about 120 staff, and I was flying, and I thought I was very smart, and I was doing very well. And then I got an opportunity to open a property company with a partner, and I thought, well, yeah, why not? Why not be my own boss? And instead of managing 120 people, let's start a company with this partner, and we did, and it started out in early 2007, and I think people will know where this is going probably now. But by about 2008, when the global financial crisis began to happen, we were just a small company, and we got chewed up and spat out, and I lost pretty much everything. We invested a lot of money into that company. I'd had properties I'd invested in Dubai and other countries, and yeah, I lost a lot, and that was character building. It was very disappointing, but here we are.
Your travels around the world, your different deals, your different situations have taught you so much. But what has life taught you?
Life has taught me, I made a note here. That's right. Life has taught me this. And we discussed this the other day, Ben. Life is a wheel, and it keeps rolling. It keeps rolling. So you're never on the top forever, but you're never on the bottom forever either. And life has taught me that. I have been at the absolute bottom and thought, this is it. But something's happened, or I found an opportunity and got back up and back up. And I've been on the top as well.
So I think it's about gratitude and resilience.
Yes, and it's gratitude, resilience, and that the wheel of life just keeps turning. And it's obtuse to you, really, and it'll turn anyway. But life and the wheel of life keeps going. And so you're never at the bottom, you're never at the top. That's what life has taught me.
Craig, you're such a deep man. You're so decent and you're so genuine. Thank you very much for your top 10. We have learnt.
Thanks, Ben.